Okay, morning everybody, lovely to see you. I was hoping to say on a sunny Wednesday morning, but I don't know whereabouts you are, but it's not really sunny here. But never mind, we'll do sunshine in here instead. I first must apologise for the fuzziness of my picture. You may or may not have heard the blue tack story. Because I was a little bit paranoid about somebody switching on my camera without me knowing that the camera had been switched on, I put blue tack over it. Don't put blue tack over your camera on your laptop, because this is the effect you get no matter how hard you clean it afterwards. So I'm waiting for my new camera to arrive, but in the meantime we've kind of gone for the glamour effect here, so I hope you don't mind. My name you already know. I'm a people development specialist, and I kind of have two ways in which I do that. I work with individuals and teams. I'm a business psychologist by trade, so I work with people in a coaching setting to help them look at whatever areas of their life they want to develop, whether it's their career, whether it's their home life, sport, or whatever it is. I also teach people how to ride, completely separate area of my life, that I've been able to turn a hobby and a passion into making money, which is always a good thing to do. It's always what we're told to do, isn't it? Kind of find your passion and your thing, and then follow that, and you'll start to make money. So today I'm coming to you not as a riding instructor. You'll be happy to know that I'm not going to expect you to do anything connected with riding, but I can use a lot of the skills that I use around NLP and positive psychology when I'm teaching riding as well. So what I'm going to talk you through today, I hope you'll see, you'll be able to use not just for yourselves, but for anybody else in your lives as well, whether it's children, whether it's people at work, whether it's your family. All of the things we'll talk about are equally relevant to anybody. Well, I can see a message there. Okay, good grounding questions. Okay, so horse riding, dressage is my field, so that's what I teach. And there was a question there about NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. You don't need to worry too much about what that means right now, because my focus for today is very much on giving you strategies and techniques that you can take away and use. I do want to cover a little bit of theory just so you have an understanding of how it works in the background, but then I want to move straight into stuff that's going to be really useful to you. You can follow up with the science later if that's what you're interested in. So I'm going to now do that whizzy thing where I share my screen. So that means I'll probably lose the picture of some of you, but I know that Suzanne's there to help with any questions and so on. So here we go.
Sarah, you haven't missed anything, we're just starting.
Okay, so I'd like to talk to you about happy brain, which is it's a way of thinking and a model that was developed actually initially to be used in schools. And the brief for Kay Cook, who actually developed the model, was to help children learn, basically. So she did a lot of research looking at what is it that takes children's and adults' brains offline and puts them in a stress state. When they're in a stress state, they can't learn. So she did a lot of research looking at how that actually works and what it is that kind of sits behind the neurology of whatever it is that happens within our brain. It's now been developed as a product that neuro-linguistic programming practitioners can use as an add-on to their practice. And it's also delivered as training for anybody who has no coaching, NLP, or any other experience at all, because it's kind of bottom-up learning. It very much starts from the chemical reactions that are happening in our brain that help to explain why we all respond in the way that we do, and helps us to move from that stress reaction, that stress thinking, into a thrive mode. So, oh man, I'd just like you to take a look at this slide as a bit of a check-in to how you are today. This is called a perceived emotional scale, and it goes from 1 at the left to 10 at the right. The one at the left has 2 little faces. It has a very sad face, but it also has a very angry face. So either of those will apply to 1. And we use this a lot because it's, as well as having the numbers, it's a really visual scale, and we will all relate to either one of the numbers or one of those faces. And what I'd like you to do is just make a note of which one of those applies to you right now. So right here, right now, which of those faces or numbers would you say kind of speaks to you? Go with your gut reaction. Don't think about it. Don't think, well, when I got up, I was this, and I think later on I might be a such and such. Go with what you feel absolutely right now. It kind of helps to put a name to some of the emotions that we might be feeling. Okay, you all got that? Yeah, thumbs up if we're all good to go. Yeah, perfect. Okay. So, in Happy Brain, there are kind of 3 principles. It's based on a triune brain model. There are many of them around. Any of you who've done any of this kind of work before will sort of recognise that kind of 3-system approach. Essentially, this looks at the simplicity of the mind-body system. So that talks a little bit about the neurology and our hormones and how they work and affect our body. I'll say a little bit more about all of these in just a moment. And it's represented by the green circle on there, which, if I'm honest, I'm not sure if it's a crocodile or it could be an alligator. Maybe somebody who knows a little bit about such things would be able to tell us, but anyway, that's the one that it's represented by. We also talk about that being representing the reptilian brain. That's the kind of the power for movement and energy, and kind of gives us our get up and go to be able to live our lives in whatever mode we're in. The second area is around resilience, and that's represented by the little pussycat curled up asleep there. When we're in thrive mode, this is our seat of emotions, and it allows us to be open to ideas. When we're in thrive mode, our mammalian brain allows us to consider things, it allows us to interpret things and be open to those interpretations. And then there's the kind of the little lights with the wires, and that's our neurology all lighting up in our thinking brain, where we can make good decisions if we're in thrive mode, and we get clarity of thought. It's kind of our prefrontal cortex, that thinking part of our brain. So that's briefly kind of the principles. All of this sits very well with NLP, and Richard Bandler, who was the co-creator of NLP, was very fond of saying this. Essentially, what we think has a big impact on what we do and how we feel. It actually works the other way around as well, because what we do can have an impact on how we think. And it kind of works its way up and down those brain parts, because we're taking in information into our brain in different ways all the time. What we're doing in Happy Brain is always looking to turn the stress model, which is the model on the right, the bright red one, with all of the parts of our brain not really working together, lots of emotions churning around, our brains are taken offline because of the stress. And what we're always trying to do is to turn that into a thrive mode, which is where you see the parts of the brain all working together. They're all settled, they're all in perfect harmony. So just going back to the systems part of our brain, so the reptilian part of our brain, This is where the neurology and the neurobiology starts to come in. And you will all be familiar with, at some point in your lives, the feelings of being stressed. So you might recognize the things like your heart pounding, your breath might be a little bit shallow, you might get a headache, your vision might go blurry, you might feel a little bit sick, kind of all those churnings in your tummy. We've seen a lot of it right now in these uncertain times because our world has changed so much, and that causes a lot of uncertainty. And what this part of our brain is always looking for is patterns of understanding, of structure, of routine, and that's where it starts to feel safe. And it's when you're not feeling safe, and I'm kind of putting those in air inverted commas, that you start to get those stressed feelings. And this, you may be familiar with, this kind of relates back to kind of prehistoric times when we would be able to sense that there was a danger. Our systems would start to come into play straight away, and we would run away from the tiger or whoever it was that was actually going to eat us. Although we have evolved in terms of the world we live in, our basic systems still operate on that process. So when we're getting lots of stress messages, our bodies will automatically respond and get us ready to run away. Now, sometimes in life that's quite a good thing. The example I often use is when you're crossing the road and you notice a bus coming, you don't stop and go, "Oh, that's interesting, there's a bus, I wonder if I should do something about it." Most often you're likely to say, "Oh, gotta get a wriggle on," run to the other side of the road, and only when you get there go, "Phew, blimey, that was a close escape," because your body has sprung you into action. And Happy Brain is designed to help us to move from that stressed state into a calm state. What sometimes happens is we stay, or we kind of form habits around that stressed state, so that we're constantly living with the anxiety, and obviously that can have long-term effects on our mental health, but also on our physical health as well. So resilience, that kind of pussycat part of our brain, the mammalian part of our brain, this is about finding ways to process and to recover from those stressful experiences. It's about being able to sit with the emotions without necessarily being jerked around on them like a puppet on a string, and not having the highs and lows of life. Life brings us highs and lows. When we're feeling resilient, we stay balanced like that little character in the middle, and we can kind of let the rise and fall happen around us, but we can stay nice and balanced and centered is another way of describing it. What often happens is, and you'll have heard people talk about, make sure you're surrounded by the right people in your life. And that's because in this part of our brain, this is where we start to pick up those vibrations from other people. So you will have had experiences where you walk into a room and you instantly know that the atmosphere is a bit odd, that it's not quite what you might have been expecting it to be. That'll be being picked up in your reptilian brain, and your emotional part of your brain then starts to try and make sense of it and wonder what it is that's going on. And finally, the sort of the thinking part of our brain is where we get clarity of thought, and it's about making good decisions. Interestingly, it's this part of the brain that is taken offline when we go into a stress state. When you have to run away from the tiger or the lion or the marauding herds that are coming over the hill, you don't need to think, you just need to go. So this part of your brain isn't needed, it's just taken offline. So any of you who recently have perhaps been wondering why you can't think straight, why you can't get organised, why things that used to be so easy are suddenly more difficult, it's possibly because you're maybe overwhelmed by things that you're having to do right now if you're taking care of others and the family and so on, or maybe you're being bombarded with lots of information. We're constantly getting news reports about what's happening in the world. We don't know what our world's going to look like in a few weeks, in a few months from now. And all of that information then can serve to take your thinking mind offline. And the Happy Brain is about giving you the tools that will help you to be really focused and clear about what it is that you want to do. So just to revisit that model, Happy Brain is about taking us from that stressed side of our brain where none of the parts are talking to each other, they're all off doing their own thing, and they're all acting in a stress state. We've got all of those stress chemicals running around our bodies and moving us into a thrive mode where we've got feel-good chemicals in our body and we have strategies that can help to calm us. In the kind of original iteration of this model, that is then what helps children to learn better. For us as grown-ups, it's what allows us to do our businesses right, allows us to run our families right, allows us to do whatever it is that we want to do in life and make really good choices. So let's have a look at your brain. So pen and paper at the ready. What I'd like you to do is using this or anything else you choose to as a model, can you draw yourself 2 brains? You don't have to worry about all the folds and stuff in the brain. If it's just an outline of a brain, that's perfect, because you are going to be writing on both of your pictures. So draw yourself 2 brains. Make them reasonable sized because you're going to be writing in them. Give us a thumbs up when you're done. Okay. Okay, so in your first picture, what I'd like you to do is draw your brain in stress mode. So all of the things that you are aware of that are happening in your brain when you go into stress mode. It'll be different for everybody, so I'm not going to lead you with any of that. You've got coloured pens. It can be different colours, it can be words, it can be pictures, it can be whatever it is that comes to you. I've never seen 2 the same, so I can guarantee that yours will be very different to everybody else's, so you can make it your own. So whatever it is that you want to put in your brain, could be thoughts, feelings, things you see. I'll just give you a couple of minutes to do that. I was really smart with the technology. I play music now, but it's what I do in a training room, but I haven't quite got to grips with that yet. And give us a thumbs up when you've done it. Okay. Yeah, give you just a couple more minutes. I know you're all muted, but I can hear the scribbling and the brains whirring as you do all this. Okay, if you're done that, let's move on to the other brain. Don't worry if you haven't. In the other picture of your brain that you've drawn, I'd like you to represent your brain in thrive mode. When it's calm, when it's functioning really, really well, what do you see, hear? What colours do you see? What words are there? How would you represent it? It might be pictures in your calm brain. So you might be using a different set of pens here, a different set of colours. Just notice as you're doing this as well, how hard or otherwise you're gripping your pen, how hard or otherwise you're pressing on the paper as you're thinking about your thrive and calm brain. Can see lots of scribbling going on here. If you've just joined, draw yourself a couple of brains modelled on this picture. It'll all become clear. And again, thumbs up when you're done so we know when to move on. I don't know, Suzanne, if you can help. I can't see all the people. Can you? Do you have to scroll through? Just I don't want to move on if it's too soon for everybody. You're muted, lovely. I can't hear you.
Is everyone ready to move on, or does anyone need a couple more minutes? I just thumbs up.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone can move on, I think.
Excellent. Okay. So can I just ask you to take your attention to your stressed brain and just try it on. Step into it. Really see if you can associate with some of the feelings, what you see, what you hear, what you notice. And just pop in the chat box, what's that like? Can we see the chat box while the presentation's up?
I can, definitely.
Okay, excellent.
So for me, I think it's noisy and it hurts.
So you can hear and feel things.
Teresa says heavy, scrambled, red. I wrote tight, full, sore, entangled.
So some interesting words coming up about thoughts and feelings and things you can see and hear.
Tight chest, increased heart rate, noisy and tension, unsettled roller coaster, emotional.
Wow.
Red, angry and constricting, red and messy, anxious.
Okay, okay. And you've created that for yourselves just by looking at a picture. Wowza. Okay, let's see what happens when you put that brain to one side and step into your calm and thrive brain instead. So go back to your calm picture, your thrive picture, and really associate yourselves with that instead. So you may be seeing what you've written, you may be hearing some words, some other sounds, you might be noticing different colours, different patterns. And again, pop in the chat box, what's that like? What's it like when you try on your Thrive brain instead?
So you've got, from me, smiley, positive, got life flowing nicely, less frantic and feeling well, happy, flow, happy, motivated, calm, quiet, smooth, rest, pink and yellow, and calm, full of creativity, quiet, airy, clarity, yellow, bright, light, controlled and considered and calm, aqua and soft green.
Wow, how different is that? So simply by taking your attention to how you want your brain to be in a calm, considered Thrive mode, you've been able to experience a whole range of different thoughts and feelings associated with that different way of operating. So you now have a really good tool that you can use at any time, and practice, remember, is a really good way of getting familiar with it, to step into those really calm, Thrive modes of being, rather than the other sort which you used to feel. Does that make sense, everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, so okay, this is where you're all glad that you'll be muted. For any of you who've joined Hannah on a Tuesday evening and been singing with Hannah, it's great because she mutes everybody so you can sing your heart out and nobody can hear except whoever's in your house, of course. It's so liberating. Honestly, I never really expected it, but it is so liberating. So I'm going to ask you to sing. I'm going to ask you to sing something in particular. I'd like you all to think of a problem. And it could be something as simple as I'm really annoyed because my partner won't load the dishwasher. Yeah, that will be a real feature in many households right now when everybody's living together really closely. So anything you like, think of a problem. Doesn't have to be something that's really, you know, deep-seated, but anything you like. And just say how you would normally say that problem. Just say it out loud now. We can't hear. So I'm guessing that it's a bit grumpy and it's a bit, and it might be a bit shouty, or it might be a bit fed up, or any of those other things. Okay, here comes the singing bit. What I'd like you to do is to sing your problem. So you can go opera, you can go rap, you can go musical, you can go anything you like, but just have a go at singing your problem. Sing words, just sing them. I'm looking for mouths moving. Come on, guys, join in. Go on, no one can hear you. I'm just going to have a quick scan through because I want to see everybody singing. Are you all still singing? Wowza. Yay. Fantastic. So, what does it feel like? What's it like when you sing your problem rather than say it? Pop your comments in the chat box so that we get to get some feedback. What's it like when you sing that problem rather than saying it as you might do normally? What sorts of things are coming up? Remember to unmute, Suzanne.
So we have less intense.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sick of my house being untidy, but if I'm singing, I want to sing and then start picking everything up everywhere. It's easier. Someone's got a book about it.
Oh.
Easier, silly and childlike. Makes me smile and less frustrated.
Okay. Okay. So what we're talking about there is changing your state. So if you say your problem, then you might be in a bit flat, a bit, all of those things. But when you sing it, not only do you have to be a little bit straighter, which immediately changes how you feel anyway, you have to take a big breath so your body gets oxygenated. That changes how you feel as well. And then just hearing the different ways that you sing the problem that it sounds like changes how you feel as well. So even though the problem's still there, still got to be dealt with, actually singing it will completely change how you feel about it, and then be able to deal with it more constructively. This is not about having a Pollyanna approach where we just go, oh, nothing's a problem. That's kind of unrealistic. But what we can do is get more constructive in how we deal with it. Einstein is quoted as saying that you can't fix a problem from the same place that you created it. So if you're kind of creating that sort of a feeling, and you try and address the problem from that place and you try and have that conversation, it just gets worse. Actually change your state, start to sing, and who knows what might be possible. Okay, back to some drawing. I'd like you to draw 2 pictures like that one on your screen, or anything else that you can come up with. We're basically looking for 2 pictures of a person. It can be a stick person, or any other drawing that you're comfortable with. And then in one of them, if you've drawn them side by side, do it in the left hand one. If you've drawn them one underneath each other, do it in the bottom one. I'd like you to make a note with your coloured pencils of where you feel all of your stress feelings. So maybe you get a headache, some of the things that you were talking about before in your stress brain. Maybe your tummy churns a little bit, you might get tingling in your fingers, maybe you clench your toes. Maybe you need to go to the loo all the time. Maybe your eyes get a little bit tightly closed. Maybe clench your teeth. Any of those things. Again, it can be words, pictures, drawings, just colours, anything you like. Isn't it good to do something creative as well? Even if you feel that you're not creative. We're just proving that you are. What sorts of things are we getting? Can you pop in the chat box the sorts of things that you're getting, that you're drawing, that you're seeing, that you're feeling, that you're hearing? Maybe some smells are associated with this feeling as well.
So Sarah Johnson's loving everything, by the way.
Oh, that's great.
We've got someone that feels like their jaw, the tummy, tops of their arms. For me, I get the lines down here.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
On my bum.
Pardon?
My bum gets always filled with stress.
Bum?
Bum, yeah.
Okay. What does it do when it gets filled with stress?
Probably clenching.
Okay, okay, yeah, okay.
Rather than toilet moments.
You're not on your own. Any others?
Bad skin, twitchy legs, tight throat, going to the loo all the time, headaches, tension in the neck and shoulders, throat closes, sternum and rib cage, clenching and grinding of teeth. I do that too. Frowning, tension in shoulders, in extreme cases, chest pains.
Wow.
Dry skin.
Yeah.
I hold my breath when anxious.
Yeah, good one. All of those are very, very, very usual things to feel. Okay, let's go to your other picture. And in this picture, you're going to draw all of those calm and thrive feelings that you get. So maybe different colours. Again, notice how much you grip the pen or how heavily you write on the page. And where would you get those feelings of calm and thrive? So here you might get a lightness, a feeling, a little bit of a kind of bubbles coming up from your tummy maybe, or your shoulders drop possibly, or lots and lots of other things. You will all know that calm state. Think of a time when you've really felt at your best and in thrive mode. Loads of scribbling going on, great. And then again, pop in the chat box when you can some of those reflections.
Sorry, Tracey, someone just wanted to clarify, is it when we write and when we feel good?
Yes. Yeah, when you feel good, when you're in thrive, when you're calm. And if there's any of that you'd like to share in the chat, that would be really helpful too.
Feel happy and calm and my eyes sparkle. I have a clear mind and a real focus and want to do and get creative. Floating on air. Big smile, relaxed, shoulders. I sing to myself, bounce around, smile, and I'm productive. Smile, relax, laugh, ineffective. Someone can't remember.
Can't remember a calm state.
Yeah, well, they've just put can't remember.
Okay.
I'm assuming that to be.
Okay. Okay.
Lighter. Someone is finding it problem is quantify. Okay. Someone's got loose shoulders, glide along when walking, see purple and greens, twinkle lines, mischievous. I can imagine you being mischievous. Lighter, flying, full of energy, dancing, smiling, singing, and this person can't sing and ready to take on the world.
Wow, how amazing does that sound? So if you can't readily yet find your feelings of calm and flow, try on some of the ones that you've just heard. Some people were there talking about floating on air, feeling a bit mischievous, being able to take on the world, all of those sorts of things. If you haven't found your own just yet, try on some of the others, because you might find some that remind you of your good feelings. So now what I'd like you to do is to notice where on your stress picture, take one of those feelings, whether it's the churning in your tummy, the tightness in your chest, the furrowed brow, the whatever it is, and notice what that then looks like on your feeling good, calm, thrive picture. And notice how you can turn the stressed picture into the calm picture. So for example, if you had an area that maybe changed colour, imagine taking that part of your body through the colour change. So for example, if it went from black to pink, notice the black part fading getting perhaps grey, and then turning a little bit colourful until it comes up to whatever colour pink you have. If you have an area that's maybe swirling in one direction, try swirling it the other way to see what happens when you change it into your calm and thrive picture. If you're, excuse me, feeling like your shoulders are up around your ears, and in your calm picture you've noticed them down and relaxed, how do you do that? How do you change them from being up around your ears to down and relaxed? Practice what it is that you have to change to go from that stress state into your calm, thrive state. Please do type if there are any questions or queries about any of that, or your feedback about how you're doing. What are you noticing? Is that one proving a little trickier?
Yeah. Someone's colour intensifies when they're calm. Someone's wearing their shoulders like earrings.
Okay, okay. So that one's a little trickier to associate with.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What you have got though is that picture of you in your calm, thrive state that you can step into at any time, that you can use, you can wear, you can try it on like you did your brain to step into that feeling instead. Okay. You can see how this would work because I can't see your pictures. It's harder for me to then be able to say, right, let's take this bit. Whereas if we were working one-to-one, or if you were using this with your kids, for example, you could really pinpoint on an area where they've drawn something, you know, like a swirly feeling in their tummy, for example, and you could talk them through swirling it the other way, or making it fade, or maybe it lifts up and disappears from their body, or any of those sorts of things, because you can get really specific about it. So that's maybe something you can try when we're finished. Okay, I'd like to invite you to just put your pens and papers down and make yourselves comfortable. And I just want to take you through a very short visualization, which will just demonstrate how powerful your thoughts can be in a good way. I'd like to invite you to close your eyes. If you don't want to close your eyes, that's absolutely fine. What I'd like you to do instead is find what we call a gaze point. So you can maybe use the stones that are on the picture there, or the sunshine, or look down at your hands or anything. And a gaze point always comes with soft eyes. So not that really hard stare when you're concentrating on something, but soft eyes where you feel that you can see your peripheral vision, that you can, things kind of fade a little bit, they get a little bit fuzzy around the edges. And then I'd like you to think of a scent, a smell that you associate with being relaxed, or good times, or happy times, feelings of calm, just feelings of being in flow, maybe a favourite candle you have to burn, maybe a smell of some food that you particularly love, some perfume, something that just, or your garden, something that you associate with that lovely feeling. And I'd like you to take a really big breath in of that beautiful smell. Imagine it really filling not just your lungs, but all the way down into your tummy, down to the tips of your fingers and the tips of your toes. And you might notice that that smell has a bit of a colour attached to it. It may not. But whatever it is, I want you now to notice how much that colour is starting to infuse, not just through your lungs, but it's starting to infuse into the rest of your body as well. So it might spread over your shoulders, down your arms, right into the tips of your fingers, down your body, over your hips, all the way down your legs, ankles, into your feet, right to the tips of your toes. You might notice that you're feeling and smelling that right up to the top of your head as well, tips of your ears, ends of your hair. That beautiful, beautiful scent that reminds you of the things that you're thinking of now. And as that scent perhaps gets as strong as you want it to be, or it may be a very faint scent, and you can feel those feelings spreading all the way, that's right, round your body. And you might notice that it now starts to spread outside of your body as well, and perhaps surrounds you like a little bit of an aura. Or if you're as old as me, you'll remember the Ready Brek adverts with that golden glow of the children setting off to school, having had their really warm Ready Brek, and that golden glow, or whatever colour it is for you. And that sensation, breathe it in again, really deeply, big breath in. That's it. And relax as you find yourself infused with that beautiful scent. And notice how your body's feeling. Notice those sensations, whatever they are, that brings back those happy times, those happy memories, that feeling of calm, of being in flow. As you get those sensations, that's right now, throughout your body. And then notice how you can hold on to that for the rest of the day. And isn't it good to know that you can bring back those lovely feelings wherever you are, whatever you're doing, simply by noticing that gorgeous scent, that gorgeous smell that you know so well. And knowing that you can keep that sensation as you start to notice yourself coming back into the room, as your eyes start to gradually open. And take a big deep breath in and a big breath out. And welcome back, everybody. Wow. Any comments in the chat box as to how that was? Oh, good, thumbs up. Perfect. Thumbs up will do just fine. Anyone want to make any comment on how that was for you? You need to unmute, Suzanne.
Fabulous, calming, much needed. Thank you.
Great. And that was simply by using a resource that you have readily available at any time. Obviously, you can use like aromatherapy oils if you want to create that smell, but you know the smell, you know the scent because you smelt it before, you know it already. So that's something that you can use at any time, wherever you are, whatever it is you're doing. So we're coming towards the end of our hour together. Just like you to take your attention back to this perceived emotional scale, and could you just now note whereabouts you are on this scale? Note the number or the face or whatever it is, and just write down what that is for me. And then what would be really great would be to get in the chat box some feedback as to what you've noticed, what the changes are that you've noticed between where your first score was and the score that you have now.
So I went from 4 to 5 and now I'm at a 7.
Okay.
some 6 to 7. Someone had some of Sarah's Ultras calming oil burning too.
Excellent. Really good resource. They're beautiful, aren't they?
6 need to get rid of the headache though.
Okay.
From 5 to 7. 4 to 5. I had a cry in the middle.
Okay.
8 to 9 from 7. 10. I'm always driven to work non-stop. There is no point in being stressed and work all the time.
Okay.
1 from 5 to 7. 7 to 8.
Okay.
One's got the diffuser bracelets on from Sarah, and they're up to an 8 for themselves now.
Okay. So it's fair to say that most people moved up, and I hope that represents that the feelings are better than they were at the start. And all we've done is used some really simple tools that you can use for yourselves anytime. You can use them for your family, for your colleagues, depending on your work environment. And they're all tools that you can take with you. And obviously you can use oils and things like that, which are always beautiful, and Sarah's are particularly lovely. I have them in the car, which is just great. Okay. For the person that said they had a little cry in the middle, I'm not actually worried about that, because that just tells me that there's been a little bit of a release, and that's okay. That's absolutely fine. So I'd just like to end on whether there are any questions or comments or further insights from what we've done today. Also, if there's anything else that I can help you with, yeah, any of that into the chat box, that would be great.
Tracey, could you unshare your screen, then I'll be able to see everyone?
Oh, of course.
Thank you.
Here we go, stop share. There's everybody, yay!
Can I just remind everybody, please, to leave Tracey a Facebook review? Thank you very much. That's all I'm saying. I'm not buttoning at all, but please leave
Don't
Tracey
worry,
a
we'll set it to
review.
That would be fantastic.
Definitely needs one for that. It was absolutely awesome, mate. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Happy Brain is the product, and you'll find more information about it at the Me group. Actually, can I just, while you might be... Pardon?
If you want to put any links into the chat, that would be great.
Oh, yeah, good thinking. Right, I'll do that straight away. So everyone, okay, so just bear with me while I type. So,
does anyone have any questions?
That's my website. Please be assured that Peter Surridge is hard at work on my website as we speak. So what you see is it's all fine, it's all up to date, it's all the information's there, but it's just not how I really want it to look. But anyway, you can find all the information there. And just let me put this down here. Okay, the drawing activity, great. That's where you'll find lots more information about Happy Brain. Kay is running some online training with it for Happy Brain at the moment. Normally it's classroom based because it is very experiential, but what she's doing at the moment is running it online, and then she'll get everybody together at some point to actually go through things in more detail and sort of do the experiential bit. So do have a look at her website and all the information that she's got on there as well. So my Facebook page is People Excellence Performance.
I'll send everyone links to Tracey as well. I'll put
that's perfect, lovely. I have had such a ball today. Thank you so much for having me. I've really enjoyed it. I love working with these tools. They are fantastic, and I hope you've enjoyed it too. Sorry?
Question. I'm guessing we can apply these techniques for children. Can I do this?
Oh, absolutely. It was all the exercises were designed for children, and there are loads more where they came from. It's all about creativity and play, and once you know more about Happy Brain and kind of the science behind it and how it works, you'll then have all of those tools that you can use with children, but also there is a project that's being developed to take into organisations as well called Work Well, and it's all the same things in a slightly different context. So once you're familiar with all the tools, you can use them anywhere. That's the beauty of it, really.
Perfect. So after this session, I will pop everything into the members only Facebook group. And so easy for you to pick up the link to leave Tracey's review. It's always great if you do it straight away, or if you need to reflect and think about it. But this week would be great.
And if you've got any questions or queries or anything that comes up for you, you know, when we've all signed off, please just get in touch. I really don't mind. I'm also very happy at the moment to offer free 30-minute sessions for Minties. Just if there's something in specific that you want to talk about, that you want to go over, that you want to use, please just give me a shout.
Thank you, Tracey. Thank you very much for the session.
Very welcome.
Teresa, it's Teresa's week next week. Would you like to tell everyone here a little bit more?
Oh, yeah. First of all, Tracey, thanks so much for that. It was absolutely brilliant, really inspiring, and really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Very welcome.
So yeah, I was kind of hoping that whatever I am doing next week didn't duplicate anything, you know, similar, and it won't. It's kind of a similar concept. It's about confidence and finding that inner confidence, because many of us right now are probably sort of on the lower scale in terms of confidence right now, and so we've got some tools and some techniques to increase our confidence, and similar things, a bit of creativity to go in there, because I think and I'm sure Tracey will agree, when you write things down and draw things out, it embeds it more and stays with you. And these tools, if you keep using them, it embeds it so that you use them for the rest, you know, for in the future, not just in this session. So yeah, it's basically just a masterclass hour of confidence coaching.
Thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you all next week, and more people as well, different people, whoever wants to join. But that's all for today. Okay, see you all later.
Bye everybody, thanks for coming along. Bye.